Hello and welcome to the McCord List today. I am Rachel McCord and I am so excited to see you guys. If this is your first time, welcome. I am thrilled, you guys. If you've been watching for a long time, you know this show is all about helping you live life and live it to the full. But this is not just about inspiration. This is actually about activation. I want to see you activate on the dreams of your heart and do what you were called to do, because I firmly believe that we all have a huge purpose in this lifetime. I am an open heart surgery survivor. I have had my heart stopped and started in this lifetime, and I will tell you, the very fact that your heart is beating is a sign to me that God has a plan for your life. There's a reason you're here and there's a purpose. So I want to be part of your journey. I'm so glad you're here. I don't know what brought you here, but I know you're supposed to be here. And this is a message for you to know that it is time to come out of yourself and to feel free to speak your mind and your heart and your truth and to share it in all the little ways. You know, this life can be so difficult. We can have the ups and downs, and people, places, and things can push us down and make us feel afraid. In fact, if you're facing challenges right now, maybe you're experiencing the resistance that comes when we don't break through, when we hold back. And so you're at this choice in this moment and you're like, I feel these obstacles, maybe I should give up. But I believe you're actually supposed to press in more than ever before, because when you feel that break, it is about to be a breakthrough. It's darkest before the dawn. So you cannot let those scary moments, the self-doubt, the imposter syndrome, the fear hold you back from who you were created to be. Because here's the deal. You're amazing. You have a purpose. You're beautiful. And it needs to be shared with the world. Today we have an epic show ahead for you. Some people who you might have heard of who are going out and creating breakthrough for lives all around the world. One of my dear friends, Amanda Jenkins, is here. You guys probably know a project she's pretty involved in. She is involved in The Chosen. Dallas Jenkins, her husband, is the creator, writer, director, all the things. And Amanda leads the literary department. She has authored all of the products that they've created, all their books and the teaching guides that are making a huge impact in the world. And of course, I got to sit down also with their daughter, Maya Jenkins. So we're going to show you a little splash from that. And I just got to tell you, I love these humans. I don't know where you are in your walk of faith. Maybe it's a crawl, maybe it's a non-existent, leave me alone moment, but I hope the stories that you hear today inspire you that miracles happen, that challenges come, that there are spiritual warfare moments in our lives. And if we are not tapped in, we might bow out before the breakthrough that we're called for. And I don't want you to do that. I know you're gonna love this episode. I'm gonna love this episode. I'm so giddy that she's about to be here in the studio. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on the McCord List today with Amanda Jenkins. I am your talk show bestie, Rachel McCord. I'm Rachel McCord, executive producer, host, and creator of the McCord List today. Welcome back to the McCord List today. You guys, I'm freaking out. She is here. The queen has arrived. She can't stand that I just said that, but Amanda Jenkins is here. Do I call it out that you can't stand it? She hates it. She fully does not like it at all. But it's kind of true. You're so amazing. We were talking before we started filming. I'm like, I don't know how to introduce you.
I know.
You're my bestie, but it's like author, head of the literary department for The Chosen, wrote every single book.
Every single
for
book
The Chosen,
so
not in the whole world, but
not in the world, yeah. But of The Chosen books, yes, I am the main creator of our extra content, and I have a title that I don't know what it is. They keep telling me, but I'm not sure what it is. So I prefer bestie. That's fine. Bestie works.
Bestie works. Oh my goodness. Okay, so first of all, Rick's FOMO-ness is so high right now. Hubby is like, what is happening? It's so funny because, I mean, he never seems to care about any of my shows. And then I'm like, thanks for caring. And he's like, so when's Amanda going to be there? What's the deal? What's the plan? Have you gotten her locked? I'm like, we are working on it. She's very in demand.
We go back for like 30 years now. I mean, that is how you know how old you are, when you're like friends you met as adults and you still go back 30 years. So anytime I get with Rick is great. He's like a brother to me. So good. He should have FOMO. Where are you, Rick?
Yeah. Why are you not here?
Yeah. Why I totally thought he'd be a studio audience member today.
He was planning. He's on daddy duty because Vacation Bible School ended at noon. So, he was juggling. But, it's so wild because when he went through his divorce before he got all of this, he
That's
only on the edges was that inappropriate. But, he stayed on your couch. You guys came up. And you know what's really funny? I remember being at Rabbi Jason's event with Kathy Lee Gifford when he came up and was talking to Rick about this new thing called The Chosen and was starting to do the crowdfunding.
Yeah, he's one of our biblical scholars. So I don't know him super well, but Dallas does. And it has been he's like the greatest messianic Jew, like the things he knows, like incorporating all the Old Testament, New Testament stuff. So he's kind of a magical, mythical creature in my mind because I'm like, you're just brilliant. But that event, I think Dallas was there and met you for the first time at that event and came home. And I will tell you, I didn't know what to think of you because you were like an Instagram influencer model.
She's like, you're like an influencer?
I didn't know what to think of you, and you want the best for your friend, right? And you're like, she's beautiful. I can say that. I'm a little concerned.
She's like, honestly, I kind of hated you at first.
Yes,
just like how you introduced me on the show today.
Word. But Dallas came home that day and he was like, I love her.
No way.
He's like, she's awesome.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, very strong first impression.
Wow.
Loved you. And then we got to have dinner with you. And I loved you.
Well,
Pretty much right away.
I felt like we knew each other forever. It was like that feeling.
It was an instant click. It was an instant.
He's a trip because we're obviously in that text stream and he doesn't speak in any exclamation marks. And I don't speak in any periods. So it's
so he calls you out on your exclamation.
Yeah, and
he's brutal on you.
He's so brutal.
His love language is to tease, but I'm always on the side, off the thread. I'm like, you need to calm it down with her. This poor girl is going to start taking this to heart, literally.
How about when I was going to go into my heart surgery and you had made me that beautiful verse, I'm with you always, and it's still by my bedside right now. And Dallas is like, well, hope you survive.
Hope you survive it. Yeah, there have been a couple moments where I'm like, honestly, honey, like it's too much. But you bear it very well. You were very gracious to him. I swear he's probably made you cry a couple of times. But
I love him. He really cracks me up.
He loves you, and we love Rick. So it's been a gift.
It's a family affair.
But he did, when he went through his thing, when Rick went through his thing, he did stay on our couch for like a week, and we had little kids and everything. That's why he was on our couch, and they'd be, poking him in the morning. I mean, this was the situation, and then we lost track of him for a number of years, and then came back together, and you were a part of things. So it's been a really sweet second chapter for us.
So sweet, and that was right around when all of this was really birthing with The Chosen. Obviously, it's been a long time thereafter, but can you talk a little about the beginning? I know there's a really wild story of faith and trusting God in the mess.
Yeah, I mean, we were out here in LA for a good decade, Dallas trying to make it work, and he did some things, and he made some, modest income, and you're doing project to project, and it's just a hard life. And then we took a steady job in the Midwest at a church, actually, where he was going to be partnering with them, doing some of their media, but also they had a large budget, and so they were like, let's make movies, because they saw the value in faith-based movies. And it for years we got there, and other things were a priority. The ministry was a priority, and I baptism videos and testimony stories and all these things that he was doing all the time, but that weren't movies. And he finally got a movie in 2015. He partnered with our church and Blumhouse, which was the most successful partnership he had had up to that point. WWE, I think, was getting into family films, and so they were a partner. And it was this really fun story, and they made it, they shot it, they released it, and it bombed. And so all those relationships in the industry immediately dried up. It is what people say. It's like you call and they don't pick up after like in an instant, because they're like, oh, it's very practical. They're not mean, but it's like, well, this isn't going to work. Thanks, we tried, And he was still working in a church with no future prospects in this industry he'd always wanted to work in, and it was crushing. And in that afternoon, I don't know, if a lot of people know how box office scores work, but you know pretty much when a film is released, you know within a couple hours if it's going to be a fail or not. And so we were together and crying and just praying through it. And God really laid the story of when Jesus led or when Jesus fed the 5,000, he laid that on my heart. And I was just like, that's the weirdest thing. So I'm reading in the middle of this crying and movie failure and Hollywood relationships drying up. I'm reading the story about Jesus feeding 5,000 people based on a little boy giving him loaves and fish, his little lunch. And it was weird and I didn't understand it, but it was so heavy on my heart that I took it back to Dallas. And there was a phrase that God kept bringing to my mind while I was reading it, where he was like, I do impossible math. I do impossible math. And so we thought, the box office is going to turn around. And it's going to, and everyone will see, And no, it didn't. And it didn't at all. It got worse. And so, yeah, I got super worse.
Sorry. I'm like trying to laugh because that's a terrible thing to say, but you're so funny with how you say it.
That's not the application. And so Dallas just had an absolute kind of coming to the end of himself, I would say, and a releasing of his dream as it had been, at least in the form it had been. And really surrendered to God about what life was going to look like for him. And in the years that followed, in the couple years that followed, he got this idea to make this show about Jesus and the disciples. And knew that it would be a good idea because nothing had ever been done that was a multi-season show. Everything is 2 hours. They're covering the whole New Testament version of Jesus, which is like miracle to miracle. And he's like, and now this, and now this. And then it's like, there's no chance to relationship build. There's no chance to get to know the characters in that format. And so he was like, wouldn't it be great if we had the ability to kind of see this in a more drawn out fashion and what it would have been like for these people in these relationships and all the people that Jesus came into contact with. And so that was a great idea. Like, no one's going to make that show with this guy, And so an opportunity came to make another video at the church, and it was for our Christmas Eve service. But he was so surrendered. Dallas was so surrendered by that time that he was like, okay, I'm just going to bring my 5 loaves and 2 fish, because this was that story. The little boy brought what he had, and he didn't worry about the results of it. Jesus is the one who did the multiplying, and so he's like, okay, I have to live my life like this now. I'm the little boy with 5 and 2. And so he brought his 5 and 2, which was very little at that time. It was just the story of Christ's birth from the perspective of the shepherds, and it was a 20-minute short film. And it blew up into a next chapter of, it became the pilot episode for what is now The Chosen. And God did that in ways that didn't make sense. It was through a crowdfund. No studio would work with him. And that's exactly what God wanted. God didn't want him to rely on any other relationships. And he brought the church and the one body, many parts of the church, to come in and fund this thing and to believe in this thing and to have carried this thing and be the grassroots marketing of this thing. And meanwhile, it happened only when Dallas was fully surrendered and he was out of the way. It was no longer his dream and his ambition and his desire for recognition. It was really just about Jesus at that point. And now we're just riding this rocket ship to the moon, I would say.
Wow. That is such a beautiful story, Amanda. And it's so sweet because every time I hear it from your perspective versus from Dallas's and yours together, it's like, I feel like there's more that comes to it, because I think that there's like such a moment for each of us where we get to decide to die to self and come alive in Christ and find ourselves in this new space of surrender in such a new way. Okay, we have to break for commercial, which makes me sad, but we'll be right back because I want to hear more, all the things. Okay, don't go anywhere on the McCord List today. I'm Rachel McCord talking to Amanda Jenkins, not the Queen. Amanda Jenkins is for sure. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the McCord List today. You guys, I'm sitting down with Amanda Jenkins talking about how in the very beginning she was a little unsure about this little creator influencer girl who became friends with her bestie Rick, and now I've kind of taken over first place. Is that what you were saying?
I was saying that. I was saying, Rick who is what I was saying. Yeah, no, I mean, I will tell you this. We do not have a ton of people in our life that Dallas actually makes sure we hang out with. And you guys are on that short list. 100%. And it is because he thinks you're hilarious in all your ways. In all of your like, oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, stop it. How about when was it you who said that I reminded you of on the show Schitt's Creek?
Oh.
What's her name?
Okay,
I'm
well,
hearing gas in this. Now
I'm
you can't
forgetting
see
her
it.
name, the daughter slash sister, Alexis.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so my husband, okay, I'm a huge fan of that show. My husband knows when I've been binging it, like secretly, because Dan Levy is my spirit animal. So I'm like the boy.
Yeah.
But it's not that far off. I mean, they're both a little bit like,
Yeah,
they're
you could
big.
totally.
It's like, I always know when you're watching that show, you get a little bigger. And so he's always made that joke about me. And then he met you and he's like, oh my gosh, this like dynamic of the two of you.
Yeah, with you too.
Yeah, it's too much. So he, in our little text thread, is always the Alexis gif always comes through.
It's so funny because I feel like Dallas is like, he means exactly what he says. There's no undertone of like, but he says things that you're like, what?
Subtlety, which is also a pro and a con.
Yes.
You know, when there's no subtlety. Sometimes there needs to be like, tamp it down. But no, he'll tell it exactly as it is. And so he'll love you and mock you all in like 2 sentences.
It's the best.
Back to back.
It's the best. Okay, so he is all the things on for The Chosen. He's the showrunner. He wrote it, directs it.
Writer, director, creator. Yeah, he's the head of the company while also being all the creative along with his writing team. And obviously we have a lot of amazing people who work with us and for us, and it's been a dream who we've gotten to work with. But no doubt the lion's share is on his shoulders, and it is reflected in his life. He has very little time. He's not out here. He doesn't get to come out. He doesn't get to leave. He's chained to set and then chained to editing suites and then the writing room and all those things. Yeah.
What is that like for you? Because you are such a huge supporter of him and encourager, and I've seen throughout just these amazing years of like seeing you just rise up with him. Like, what is it like to see him kind of in this space and what that does in the family?
I mean, I don't think we could have done this. I know that we could not have done this 10 years ago. I wasn't ready for this. I wasn't where I needed to be with the Lord, and neither was he. And so I don't think he could have personally handled success at that time. I think it would have gone right to his head. And now he is as humble as he speaks, you know, the way that he speaks online, and you can see all his behind the scenes stuff. And that is who the man is now. So I can see why he's entrusted with it now. I mean, he had to be broken to bits in order to get to this place, but to see him now manage it is a beautiful thing for me. And then at the same time, God brought me to a place where I've learned to abide in a real way, abide with the Lord, depend on the Lord, lean on the Lord, which I wouldn't have done. I don't think I would give him, Dallas, the freedom that he needs now, just time wise. When we first started out, I wasn't ready. So it takes a lot out of us. My kids are older now, so I get to go see him. Graciously, he gives me a very loud voice in the show, so I'm a part of casting, and I read the scripts, and then I do all the writing. And I get to be as opinionated as I am, which is a super lovely thing. So I'm super involved, which makes it work also. And so when I always joke that we're the worst work partners in the world, except on The Chosen, because like we can't paint a wall. We're going to argue our way through that. That's not going to work. Someone's going to resign like right in the middle of it. But this, for some reason, God's just brought our skill sets together in such a complementary way. So it works.
Wow. There's the grace for that. Have you faced a lot of spiritual attack? Obviously, doing this show, you're making such a huge impact in the world, and so many people know The Chosen. Like, have you faced a lot of challenges on a spiritual level?
Yeah, I would say relentlessly. I would say I'm learning to see it more in all its different forms, from literal weird demon things, I would say, to just as soon as a season starts, appliances break, tires blow, chaos ensues. And I've started to go, oh, it's season 5. Oh, it's season 6. Like, this is what we do now. And so I react to it so differently. It's almost like there's no covert op anymore this far in. You're like, oh, I can see that coming, which really is helpful, because otherwise you're very thrown by the spiritual challenges. Still working our way through it. But it's pretty relentless, I would say, for not just us, for a lot of people on our team. We actually call it the Chosen Curse. So we say when we're hiring people, we're like, Just so you know, come in with your eyes open. This is hard on marriages. This is hard on health. This is hard on appliances. This is hard. So we have a good counselor. We have a great marriage counselor who is like on speed dial. I swear once a season, we're like, hey, we need help. We can't work this out. And that's kind of how we attack that stuff, because we need help. We need community. We need to be honest about it. Because we have our own, we have flesh going on. I don't always get to blame everything on spiritual, but then you have the spiritual coming right into the flesh. So
yeah, it's so interesting because you talk about how you couldn't have done this 10 years ago, and your relationship with God has changed so much. And it feels to me like you just keep going to him with the needs and the wants and the things, and he's kind of just restoring your heart, healing your heart, and helping you with the things that you need in the midst of it. But I could see how that would be quite trying.
Well, and it's the same thing we're watching in your life. I think it's the same thing you see in a lot of people's lives. It's when you're taken to the mat in one way, it tends to almost be right alongside the thing that you're supposed to be doing. So you're like, this is weird timing. I'm finally doing this thing, or I'm really excited about this work for God, or I feel really surrendered and ready. And then you're just pummeled in some other way. And I do feel like that is not an accident. I am not choosing. You said that so in such a lovely way, that I'm choosing to go to the Lord. No, I don't choose. He is forcing my hand, where he just recently, we have currently, as it sits, I've got like 5 huge things going wrong right now in our lives that we're managing. And I was on a walk with the Lord and listening to some worship music and praying. And the sense I got from him was, notice that none of these things are small enough for you to manage on your own. That is not a coincidence. Wow. Because everything just felt so big. I can't do this. I can't figure out this. I can't find a solution on any of these things. And it was like, yep, you can't. So it just forces dependence. And so I wish that I did it in a lovely way. I wish I did it without pain and suffering, but I don't. As soon as things go well, I wander. That's my tendency. I wander from God. And so he very lovingly keeps me by his side through hard things.
I think it's so inspiring that you share that, because obviously so many people are such huge supporters of your family, of the show, and it's easy to think, oh, they're so successful, they have it all together.
Right.
And I feel like that in my heart breaks for the faith world, because it's like you're actually going to see a community that is attacked spiritually more than anyone else. You're going to see communities where like the time is so limited and you're trying to do all these different things, and you just really want people to see God when they see you, and for you to share it from that perspective is like, I feel like a big exhale for me and for so many people, because I'm the same. Like I'll be like stacked with meetings and interviews and things, and then I'll be like, wait, I didn't seek first the kingdom. And I try to do that every single day, and I always want to expand that time frame, but you get that alert on your phone or whatever, and then you're struggling through it, but you balance so much. I mean, obviously you've got all this going on, and then you're a mom, you're an amazing mama. And I feel like that for you is kind of the first vertical. I've seen you just talk about and stand in the gap for your children for so long.
Yeah, a few things will keep you on your face, like being a parent. And I remember my mom saying to me when I was just struggling when they were little, and it's all manual labor and it's all, pushback and boundaries and all the things. It was so hard. And it was so hard. I remember my mom saying, oh, this only gets harder. As they get older, as they make their own choices, as they struggle, as you watch them suffer, it gets worse. And so I think it is that. I think whatever we have in our life, some people aren't parents, some people have their own crosses to bear, but it is like, those things keep you on your face in a terrible and beautiful way. And I feel like in this season especially, I'm starting to realize that we have this constant pursuit of relief and peace and good things. And there's just this automatic thing that we associate suffering or struggle with, I'm doing something wrong, or God isn't pleased, or God isn't good, or we conclude things about suffering and struggle. And what I'm starting to realize, I feel like the door is just cracking open for me to go, oh, suffering just might be the exact place he wants us while we're here on earth. There might not be, we get through this season and whoo, that was done. I feel like one season begets the next, because God is looking for our us to know him more, looking for our faith to grow, looking for us to lean more, to give more glory to him. All those things require us to be stripped more than we could. 10 years ago, I couldn't have imagined where we are right now, because I had to go through 10 years of being kind of chiseled away, right? At like me, and it's more like Jesus, less like Amanda, more like Jesus, less like Amanda. That's a lengthy process, as it turns out.
Yeah, which is probably why you didn't like me calling you the queen, but I really think you are. Okay, what would you like people to experience watching The Chosen, reading the books you've authored, sharing your message with the world? Like, what would you like if you could impact one thing in the world? What would it be?
Interestingly, Dallas and my jobs are very different. I write Bible studies and devotionals, and he makes the show, and both of us just want the show to lead more people back to the Bible. We just want the show to be the passageway through which people go to the Bible, because we're not the Bible. You know, they're imagining what a lot of these conversations are between. We have miracle to miracle to miracle in Scripture. We don't have the conversations they were having along the road or at the campfire or after the storm on the water. You know, we don't have those conversations, but they happened. And so he gets to imagine a lot, and he does that very prayerfully, and everything's very biblically based. But we don't want people to land there. We don't want people to study the show. We want people to go back, okay, take this reinvigorated interest that you have in things of God and take it right back to the Bible, which is the supernatural vehicle through which we can know him, right?
That's amazing. Okay, one last question. I'm just itching to know. Is there anything that you feel like people just believe about The Chosen or think about it like the rumors of The Chosen that are just completely inaccurate?
Oh my goodness.
I'm throwing a curveball.
I mean, there have been some really funny things. We have a lot of different people that work for us. We have a lot of different viewpoints on our set. So we have a lot of outspoken actors and crew members and things, and we welcome that, and we want that. We're not afraid of that. But then every so often, people are like, I think humankind wants to do this. We want to lump everybody, and all of these kinds of people are like this, and so whoever we're with at the time, whether it's the Catholics or the Mormons or the atheists or the gay people or you can look for all the scandals online. They're all, I just listed them. There's a number of them. And then they're like, oh, you agree with this, or you don't want that, and you're like, we're not saying any of those things. And by the way, a number of years ago, God made it really clear, like leading to this moment, God made it really clear that we were not supposed to be super politically engaged, that's not what, it's not wrong to be by any stretch. People are called to different things, but for us, it was supposed to be Jesus, 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 and not your opinions that could lead people away or be a block, right?
It's good.
Stumbling block to Jesus or whatever. So we're like, that's cool. But then everybody wants to drag you back into like denominational differences and political differences and moral differences. And you're like, Dallas had a really great realization in season 1, episode 4, which is the miracle of the fish, where Peter's out all night and he can't catch any fish. And Jesus shows up, and so many fish come into the boat that the nets start to break, right? And so he's filming this scene, and afterwards there's this conversation between Jesus and Peter, Simon Peter, where he says, I want you to be a fisher of men. Your job is to gather people to me, and I will sort them out. Actually, he says the angels will sort them out at the end of the age, is what he says. That's in the Bible. And Dallas was like, light bulb. He's like, I'm a gatherer. I'm not the sorter of men, right? I'm not judging the ones that I'm gathering. I'm just gathering people to the story of Jesus. That's my job. That's my whole job, which takes you right out of the judgment of who's gathering, right? And we see that with tax collectors and sinners and all kinds of people he would gather to the table. It's not my job to judge the people who come. And then at the same time, my role was, okay, you disciple the people who choose to stay. So he gathers, and then we want to disciple the people who stay through our Bible studies and devotionals. So that's kind of our very clear calls, which is a long answer to your question, but all the other stuff, all the rigmarole all around it, and how people judge you and who they think you are or what you think about things. Our greatest thing is just Jesus. That's what we care about.
Yeah, and it's beautiful how it pulls right into the goal of the show. Just put them to the Bible, help them go to the Bible. And it's not our job to judge or to have opinions about all the things. It's just like, just go there. God, you can work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. It's up to him. Amanda, I love you. Thank you for doing this. I'm so happy I get to hang out with you more today.
I know, I'm like, can we cut so we can go to dinner?
Yeah, we can. Okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm Rachel McCord on the McCord List today, hanging out with Amanda Jenkins. It was amazing, and I cannot wait for you to watch this. But before you go, I've got some clips from an interview I did with her beautiful daughter, Maya Jenkins, so check it out.
I am Rachel McCord, and I'm so excited, y'all, because it has been a day of epic conversations and so much inspiration from Dawn, from Krista, and now with Maya Jenkins.
Oh, hey. Hey, girl.
Oh, hey. Fancy seeing you. I love when I actually have a day with all my friends because I just feel like I'm getting a real big girl party.
Yeah, you just get to sit here and yap for like an hour.
Literally, I'm like, so what's
Dream
been
job.
going on? When are you coming to my apartment later?
Yeah.
Quite
Basically
literally.
neighbors. So.
Yeah, I know.
kinda
Marina
fun.
girls.
Marina girlies.
It's so fun. Okay, so we got to get into the beginning because let's be honest, everybody and their mama knows The Chosen. This little show. A couple people might have
a
heard
little
of.
show.
Just a little show. Little number one.
Tiny.
I love being like it's number one on everything, and not just like in the faith world.
Yeah.
It's just number one.
I know.
So you run their social media. What is it like? I see you at all the red carpets, of course, the premieres, and everybody loves you as much as I do. I'm like, she's my girl.
I'm Rachel's girl.
My girl. So what is it like? I mean, your parents obviously created the show. Dallas and Amanda love them.
Yep.
Love them.
They
through and
love
through.
you too. So.
There's a love affair going on. So
Yeah.
tell me, what is it like? I mean, day to day must be so bizarre. Your dad is on set, your mom is writing all the books and editing and overseeing. Give me a glimpse into the Jenkins life.
Yeah. Well, it was crazy to have it really go from like shooting a little short film in our family friends like farm in their backyard to watching the show kind of take over the world. And it's so cool to be sat in a front row seat to see genuinely God's miraculous hand over our family. And it's just kind of hilarious that the Lord chose our family because we're just like this broken little group of people. And it's fun. It's really fun to do some of the social media. Like I have an amazing team. Basically, my dad gave me the job of running TikTok comments. So I literally get to say whatever I want to people as the Chosen and make funny comments, witty comments, go at people sometimes. I get to have a little sass in there. So as you know, my dad is that way. So he's like, here, free reign to do whatever you want. So
He really is.
Yeah.
He is so fun. I feel like I always get equally as nervous about my jokes with him as I do completely tickled, as they say. It's so funny. And like, we always like ride at each other.
Yeah, I know. I don't know how he hasn't gotten canceled yet, but it's fine. That's God's protection.
I love you so much. He's genuinely so hysterical. And I feel like there's probably that need, I think, in this industry and in this world because The Chosen's being covered in platforms like the Variety, Hollywood Reporter, I mean everywhere, and he is marching ahead, and like you having a little bit of sass along the way. I love how your family you have some adopted siblings who are just your normal family since you're a little baby. So what is that like?
I mean, that was amazing. I mean, my brother is adopted from Thailand, and he is just an essential part of our family. And we're little buddies. We play sports together all the time. We travel together all the time. I mean, I've been blessed to be home a ton, so I've been able to like go on my parents' little adventures and watch shooting and see how that is. But it's a crazy world. I don't know how my dad does it, like night shoots for 15 hours and running multiple businesses. I'm just like, I aspire to be my parents. So
wow, it is really incredible hearing your story because I think that's what I was so drawn to. Number one, like you were so sweet when you hooked me up with your protein recommendation.
I was like, I need to get on this right now.
I need more protein and all I want to eat is chocolate.
So let's mix the two. Let's try to mix the two.
Yeah, you really got in there. You were like, what do you like? And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm excited about this list. You're obviously all about health and wellness, but you have a unique story about health. So talk a little bit about how all of this began for you in your health journey.
Yeah, I mean, so basically I grew up playing multiple sports and was really aggressive in it. So I was always injured, and we kind of associated that with just injury. Oh, she's injured all the time. It's normal because she plays like a maniac. But when I got to high school and I was really working to play Division I volleyball, I was in constant pain throughout my whole body and was lightheaded, fatigued, and muscular pain and tears and dislocations to the point where it stopped making sense. And so I basically got diagnosed with a disease called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. and it's where all of my connective tissue are super hypermobile and are slowly deteriorating over time. And so it causes just pain, tears, and injury all the time. And it has just developed into something a lot worse as the years have gone on. And so I've had to take time off of school and work and things like that. But the Lord has genuinely really showed me that our relationship is personal, because I am blessed to experience like a tiny fraction of what Jesus suffered through. And I mean, he's the son of suffering. And so the fact that I can like relate a tiny bit to him is such a blessing. And he's worked through me so significantly that like, even though there's not healing right now and my circumstances aren't changing and maybe they're getting worse, that he's doing work inside of me and genuinely giving me a heavenly joy and showing me that his strength is seen most predominantly in my weakness. Mm-hmm. So that's been a huge blessing, but it's definitely hard, and I definitely have days of like David lamenting where I'm like crying in my room and begging God for help, but he sustained me, and I would rather kind of be on the front lines fighting than kind of lukewarm, like, oh, I have had no suffering in my life. So I'm thankful for that, but it's been a journey. It's been a journey for real.
Wow. And what a beautiful perspective to see it as a gift that you can draw closer to him in your relationship and be able to find that peace. I think that for me, hearing that, it's very touching. And also, like, I've just seen in my own journey that it's usually those moments where I need him the most, I draw closest, and then I see the constant confirmation that he's there.
Yeah.
Just things like when I'm sitting there and I'm like praying or I'm reading a verse and then the worship song in the background, I'm like, those are the same words.
Yeah.
And it's just those confirmations I think that really help. But facing paralysis was pretty insane. So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So the first disease that I talked about can cause a lot of reoccurring injuries or major traumatic injuries. And so I think it was around 2 years ago, I had multiple surgeries on my ankle. It was like hanging on by a thread because I tore it so many times. And started feeling like my foot had been stabbed with a knife, and I was like, this is kind of weird and not normal. And I got diagnosed with another disease called chronic regional pain syndrome, and it's basically where your brain can disassociate itself from a specific area of the body and have like a mind-body disconnection. And so it's like muscle cramping, muscle spasms, and significant pain to where sometimes they say online it's worse than childbirth, which I'm like, no way, because that sounds horrible.
But you get an epidural for childbirth,
I know. I'm
so,
like,
I mean,
I'll need an epidural someday.
Yeah,
babies.
girl.
But yeah, and it can spread to your whole body and cause paralysis. And my foot started looking like a skeleton, and the skin was decaying, and you could see the tendons, and so it was getting super serious. And so I withdrew myself from school and was in Texas with my family getting treatment. And luckily, through treatment, it reversed itself back to just one foot. So it's been there, and I think it'll be there forever, but I'm just glad that it kind of reduced the spreading, and seems like I can manage it better. But yeah, that was a crazy time.
Wow.
For sure.
Wow. I remember being at dinner with your mom and dad one time, and they were just like, Amanda was getting just hit with just like the messages about kind of things that were going on. And I just remember like seeing her heart, and she was just like, you know, it's hard when you decided to dedicate your life to trying to make an impact. We live in a spiritual world.
Yeah.
Whether you realize it or not, ignorance is not bliss.
Yeah.
And there are true complications. You know, it's like the easiest physical world to say is there are complications to deciding on that life. And now I'm curious, was this all before or after your surfing incident? Because the surfing incident is like another crazy situation.
Yeah, this was all before that. The surfing incident was just a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so when I was telling you at dinner, that was like a couple days before. Yeah. So basically, I mean, if any surfers are listening to this, you know this is like probably a common thing once you reach a certain level. But Basically, I was surfing with my fiance, and we were in between a pier and like a jetty made out of big rock boulder type things. We were in the middle of it, so we were fine, but there was a current taking us closer and closer to the jetty. And so when you're coming in from surfing, usually you want to be caught by a wave and ride it in, or you want to paddle in when it's calm. And since I wasn't getting any waves, I was like, okay, I'll just paddle in now that it's calm. And then a set started to come, and I'm like trying to dive under the waves. There are like 4 different ways. I'm getting slightly obliterated, but it's okay, not too bad yet. And then I came up, and the current had taken me all the way to the rocks. And so I was like starting to panic. And I usually don't panic to the point where like it seems wrong how calm I am about things, but I was like, okay, there's tons of waves going over me. And I started just praying. I was like, God, I need your help right now, because I'm swimming as hard as I can against this current and I'm going nowhere, like closer to the rocks. And a wave came over me, took me under, and I came up and I was like within this far from the rocks. And I was like, okay, next wave's gonna slam me into the rocks. And I could die, I could break bones, like the best thing that could happen is broken bones, and hopefully I can swim back to shore after
Because
that.
the current was consistently moving
Yes, just
towards
pushing
that.
me
So
towards
you
the rocks,
were
yeah.
so close that you knew there's only one place I'm
there's
going
only
with this
one.
current.
There's only one place I'm going. So I was like, God, you need to help me right now, or I'm going to die. Like, I need your help. And luckily, a wave just came and picked me up and brought me straight to shore, which was weird because the waves were almost going diagonal towards the jetty. So the fact that this one went straight to shore, right to literally my fiance's hands, where he scooped me out of the water. It's just a small story of God's goodness, and that he had me and was in control of the waves, and brought me to a low point so that only his miraculous hand could show me what he can do. I think that's just a testament to my life and to your life with your suffering, and your story is like where we meet him in these valleys, so that if we come out of them, we know it was him that pulled us out.
Yeah.
So that was like the surf day. I was like, I would not have gotten out without God. So thank you. But
What a beautiful
Yeah.
story. And I think about how, I feel like when you face scary moments like that, you can find yourself thinking, please help me, I'm in a storm, or I'm in a slew of waves and I'm going under. And then you can pray. And then the question is do you see his hand in the miracle?
Yeah.
Because it's so easy, I think, for people, oh, that was just, it's like,
Yeah.
well, was it?
Was it?
Because everything was saying one thing. Why would this one be the one thing right
Yeah.
after I prayed?
Yeah.
I remember before I was like such a praying girl.
Yeah.
I was actually in
That's going in my quote book.
Yeah,
Such a
right.
praying girl.
I'm in my praying girl era. But before I was in that era as much, I was in Mexico and I was
Yeah.
doing a photo shoot like right on the shore, and
Yeah.
it was like black current. So I
Yeah.
knew I wasn't supposed to go into the water. So I wasn't dumb. Like
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like
I knew that was dumb.
yeah, I'm not, it's not me against the water and I'm
Yeah.
winning
No.
anytime. Like my one time I
No.
ever tried to surf, I like had Baywatch come rescue
Yeah.
me. I am not most likely to
Oh my
succeed
gosh.
in the
Oh,
water. I
that's
don't even
hilarious.
like it. It's
Yeah,
too
no.
much. I'm like a real solid on the
Yeah,
shore,
on the
holding your
shore,
bags
on the
kind of girl.
beach, yeah.
But I was there and I was like on the edge, and this wave came in out of nowhere. Like I'm literally like
They
you can
always
see
do
all
that.
the literally.
Yeah.
And it grabbed me like
my
an
gosh.
octopus and just pulled me into the water. So
Oh my
suddenly
gosh.
I'm going from like this like moment, you know what I mean, to like this like, I was so confused.
Yeah.
I thought someone had actually
Yeah.
grabbed me because
Oh my gosh.
it was so weird. And
Yeah.
meanwhile, me and my husband Rick were like actually in an active argument. You know when you have an argument,
Yeah.
but I got a photo shoot to
Yeah.
do, so I'm like, you can just sit
Yeah,
over there.
you
I got
can leave.
you know. And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Yep.
exactly. So then he just like runs out, grabs me,
Oh my gosh.
pulls me out of the water, and then I was kind of like, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Thanks,
And then I'm like, well, I'm gonna advance 3 or 4 or 5 feet and get
Yeah.
out. And happens again.
Are you kidding?
Not even lying to you. This time it
is a
gets me.
nightmare.
I was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. I was so scared.
Yeah.
Black current.
Oh,
and
gosh.
by the way, what they say about it feeling like a wash machine, it really does.
Yeah, it
'Cause
really
you're
does.
kinda like-
You're like rolling around in the water. Like it's the
It's
most
weird.
degrading, humiliating
No,
thing ever.
yeah, like
Humbled.
legs
Humbled.
up
Yep.
here. You find out how flexible you
Humbling.
really
Yeah.
are. And then Ricky comes,
Yep.
gets me a second time. I'm like, I'm done with the shore.
Yeah, no,
like,
thank you.
I
Yeah.
moved up to the rocks that
Yeah.
were hardcore on
Yeah.
shore, and I was good from there. But I totally
Yeah.
forgave him. I was like, okay, whatever fight we were fighting about,
fine
you're
now.
forgiven.
Yeah.
You saved my life twice.
Yeah, thanks for rescuing me.
100%. The greatest girls have the greatest stories,
It's
right?
true.
God
It's
saves the
true.
biggest
Yeah.
battles for his mighty warriors.
That is true. That is it's
Maya,
just true.
thank you so much for coming in. You're amazing. I'm so excited. Okay, so everyone just needs to follow The Chosen and
Yes.
talk to you on social. But
Yes.
what about on personal? How can we hang with you?
Yeah, I mean, my Instagram, I think it's Maya_Jenkins44. Please chat with me. I love chatting with whoever. I love meeting new people. So
You're so fun to chat with. I cannot wait to see you come in again and maybe do like a
Yes.
wellness segment.
Oh, I
Shouldn't
would
we
love
do
it.
like a Maya's choices and
Yeah.
like talk about all the little ointments
little
and
daily
things.
routines.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to do it. I love
Yeah.
asking people when they're being filmed.
Yeah.
Because you can't
Yeah.
say no.
Oh, I know.
like,
You can't
I'm
say
actually
no.
not interested.
Yeah, inspired by Dallas Jenkins. He taught me almost everything I need to know. So.
Okay, Dallas has the tricks. I
has
did
the
see
tricks.
one time on social media he was saying that you really should just wash your face with water.
Yeah.
And then it was so funny because
And not face wash.
not
Yeah.
face wash. And so he was like a day. He was like posting all this content
Yeah.
behind the scenes on The Chosen.
Yeah.
And then it was like Dateline interview, and then it's like, and by the way, Dallas said it first. And I'm like, what? Like,
Okay,
what is
yeah,
your
I don't-
content strategy?
I don't know. He just kind of posts whatever, whenever. His
love
little
it
Dallas
so
tips.
much.
I love it.
It's
but
so good. He's so funny.
He always knows it first. He'll tell me something years ago, and I'm like, okay, Dad, that's kind of ridiculous. And then 5 years later, everyone's like, research study came out that coal tanking every morning is the most beneficial thing. I'm like, frick, he's always right.
He's right again. And I'm
always
sure he
right.
makes sure that slips into
Yeah,
the text
he'll like
stream.
send it in the
Yeah.
family chat.
Just so
Okay.
you know. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna do that
Yeah, we're
next.
doing
That'll
that.
be so fun.
Yeah,
Oh
we
my
will.
gosh. I love you.
I love you, Rachel.
And I love you guys so much. Thanks for tuning in to another, I'm going to just go ahead and call it verse, epic episode of the Mahorless today. I'm so excited. I can't wait to see you next time. You guys, we love you. We'll see you soon. Mwah.